The big wireless companies sold you an outdated plan tied to long-term contracts and mystery fees. Simple Mobile's different. You get a lightning-fast 4G LTE nationwide network with no contract, ever. And keep the phone and number you love. Just text the word BYOP to 611-611 to see if your phone is compatible. Simple Mobile. Out with the old, in with the simple.
Standard text message and data rates may apply based on your mobile phone service. Please refer always to the privacy policy at simplemobile.com/privacypolicy and the terms and conditions at simplemobile.com/terms and conditions.
So back in November, Bernie and I received this very coveted Jack Newfield Award. It's given every year by Teddy Atlas at his amazing Teddy Atlas Foundation dinner, which is usually held right before Thanksgiving on Staten Island. Make a long story short, it was the one blizzard we had all year. Bernie left early that afternoon. He was able to do that. I wasn't. So he got there plenty of time. He was there. He got the award.
My beautiful Joseph Abboud suit.
That's right. Bernie looked handsome.
Thank you.
Both you and I attempted to go there later in the day like most people. Mm-hmm. Took me 4 hours to get from West 105th and West End to the Lincoln Tunnel. 4 hours before we decided to turn around. And you also were out there for like, how long? 3.5 hours?
About 4.5 hours, and that went about 10 miles.
Right.
And then we just couldn't go
that
any
was
further.
It. So we both turned home, and I never got the award. Bernie did a great job. He got the award for us. But I never got there, neither did you. So now here's another great event yesterday. Dream, got to play baseball at Fenway Park. I'm a Met fan, don't care. The most legendary stadium. I put it ahead of Wrigley Field, certainly ahead of the new Yankee Stadium. The most, to me, the one place, the cathedral of baseball, Fenway Park. And I get to the airport for a 12 o'clock flight. I'm supposed to land at 12:33 at Logan in Boston. And at about 2:20, still on the runway. And the captain goes, well, they want us to take a different route. We've been sitting on the runway for 2 hours. They shut off the engines. We're not going anywhere. Put the engines back on. Good news, folks. We're going to be taking off shortly. But they want us to take a new route to get away from the thunderstorms and the clouds. And we may not have enough fuel.
We have to go around Malaysia.
So they're either going to come out here now and regas the plane, or we're going back to the gate. Now, this is after 2.5 hours, and I'm texting Bernie, Joe's assistant, Liz, every 5 minutes with updates. I'm coming, I'm not coming, I'm coming, I'm not coming. Here's the best part. 10 minutes later, pilot comes up going, good news. They're going to allow us to use the old route, and we should have enough fuel. What? We should have.
I'm off the plane. I'm off.
No, I'm at the end of the runway. I'm by the water at LaGuardia.
You could always do a water landing in Boston Harbor. Boston Harbor.
In the harbor.
So make a long story short, I don't land until 3 o'clock. At that point, the game is over. They played about 5 innings. The rains came. They stopped playing. But good news is Joe had a car waiting at Logan for me. Took me to the 15-minute trip right to Fenway Park.
Yeah.
And the next hour at Fenway Park with you was amazing.
What a great place. Yes, and and we had to scratch him from the lineup, Bernie. I had him leading off because I needed some big bats in the lineup.
Yep.
And
I was ready.
He was ready, but we had to scratch him.
That's too bad.
But next year, you have to come up the night before.
We'll do the show from
do
EI
the show.
They'll
be happy to give you.
No, Mike Thomas loves me.
Yeah, they'd be great.
But I tell you,
we want to have Bernie because Bernie's very well loved in Boston.
They love him in Boston. We talked about that at lunch.
Yeah.
But going out there and sitting in those seats above the Green Monster, you showing me all the, they don't call them dents because of Bucky.
They call them dimples.
Right.
All the baseball dents, Bernie, and you could actually see the,
the markings.
The indentation.
You see that, but you also see the markings from the baseball.
Oh, really?
Yes.
On the wall. And these are all legitimate.
Yeah. Wow. And then you've got the one red seat out in right field. Ted Williams hit a majestic home run.
502 feet. That's, if you never see it when there are people in the stands, but if you're there when we were there, all the seats are green, and there's a one red seat. That's where, Ted Williams hit that long home run.
Amazing.
But the history between you have to understand, people love their teams, and people who love the Yankees may hate the Red Sox and vice versa. But this is different. This is where history comes alive. 1912, right? A place and it's the original building. And you walk around, and I go there a lot, And I'm always in awe of this place. It's such a special place. So any baseball fan,
You gotta
doesn't
love
matter
it.
what
You gotta love
team
it.
you love or you hate.
And that date in
I agree.
1912 when they opened that stadium was the same exact day as you pointed out yesterday.
Right.
That the Titanic actually sunk, talking about history.
I think there's a copy of the Boston Globe that says Titanic sinks, and in the lower right-hand corner, I think it says Fenway Park opens.
Isn't that funny?
So it was ill-fated until they were able to win that.
And Babe Ruth was he was the pitcher there, right? I mean, did he hit or did he
he
just pitch?
was a pitcher, and he was obviously legendary and amazing there. And you were looking at all of the banners where you look at was it 1905, whatever they were,
right up until last year.
Yeah,
all the world
yeah,
championships,
yeah.
and the 4 in the last 15 years.
Yeah.
2 against St. Louis, 1 against Colorado, 1 against Los Angeles. But just, even there's a great picture of me, and go see all the pictures on my social media sites, in center field where they have the scoreboard. Mm-hmm. And then they have the standings.
That's right.
And every single day a guy goes out there and changes the standings. And
by hand, right?
And the Yankees were 1.5 up and 5.5 up. Now it's 2.5 and 6.5.
Right.
By the way.
That's one part of yesterday we don't want to talk about. Right. We'll leave that. Let's leave this as just to leave you with the fact that we played it for a charity. This for 22 years. It's been something called ABCD. It's the Field of Dreams where they raise money for the inner city kids in Boston, and it's a wonderful cause. And Manny Del Carmen, who was a Red Sox pitcher, was playing, and it's just to stand out on the field, Bernie. Like I think I told you before, I'm at first base, or you go to home plate, and you think all of the legendary guys, not just Red Sox. Joe DiMaggio,
Mickey Mantle.
You just think of who was standing in the same
Gibson
place.
pitching there against Jim Love.
Yeah, it's just magical.
And by the way, Abboud got gunned out at home plate.
By the way, Cleon Jones was out there too.
One of the greats, Cleon.
Yeah. Well, I was actually thrown out at home, and who tagged me out but Manny Del Carmen.
That's
as close as I'm ever going to come to professional baseball. That's about as close.
I did tell you though, and I said this to Bernie earlier. When I first landed, and the trip, it's only about 10 minutes.
It's easy, yeah.
Right there at Fenway Park. But I couldn't help when I saw the sign Watertown. I thought of that awful Thursday night.
Yeah.
And you and I ended up having a discussion with a girl who works at Fenway Park now for 22 years.
That's right.
And she says that, yes, a lot of people come into our city now, and before they think about the Red Sox or all those great things in Boston, they think about the Tsarnaev brothers.
Yeah, the marathon. The finish line is right at the library, right on Boylston Street.
Yep.
Every time I drive by that now, that finish line is always there. It's in yellow, and you drive right near Copley Square, and you never forget that.
And your daughters were right there.
Yeah,
on that day.
it was frightening for me because I was actually at Fenway, and the Red Sox won it in the bottom of the 9th, and I was walking through Kenmore Square toward the finish line.
That's a holiday that day. It's Patriots Day.
It's a local holiday.
That's right.
Everybody's off. And we hear explosions. Now, we think it's Patriots Day, and there's cannons going off and the traditional Paul Revere stuff. All of a sudden, the crowd reverses itself and starts moving away.
Oh, boy.
And then cell phones went down. No one knew what happened. We found out fairly quickly. And then my 2 daughters were along the route because they were both at Boston College at the time. And I was worried sick because they were along the route. And the police were concerned that there may have been other bombs planted along the route. So, and as I said yesterday, they shut down the city of Boston, if you remember, Bernie. If you watch the movie Patriots Day, they actually shut the city down. So we couldn't even get up to get our girls. And they weren't able to go out. They had to be escorted to get food, and it was a frightening time.
I remember it like it was yesterday. We covered it, and Sid did down in Florida. We covered it on the news the morning that they caught that creep in a boat.
That was my birthday, April 19th, that Friday morning.
That's right. And that's very close. That's Watertown's very close to Boston's a small town, so everything's relatively close. But it was a heroic day for so many who helped those who were affected, and it'll always be remembered.
Boston did a great job. Boston strong. We'll never forget that. But how about this, Bern? So we're in Boston yesterday. We both come back late last night, so we could be here this morning. Both of us, actually. He's here for this, too. But he's going back to Boston this weekend. And it's not because, Bernie, the Red Sox are home, because they are. They return home from Minnesota to host a weekend series at Fenway. No. Joe is going back because on Saturday night, he's going to his very first ever high school reunion.
How great is that?
What?
How great. And Bernie, I think you know this, that I was voted best dressed in high school. And that's the truth. I'm bringing my yearbook.
Really
yeah, that's the truth.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. So I'm bringing my yearbook.
It would have been a better story if you were voted worst dressed. And now you're the most famous fashion designer
I don't know
in the
about that.
world.
but I certainly was. Maybe that was a little prophetic,
That was, of course.
Yeah, and we all love that, and maybe see some of my old girlfriends, and I won't tell my wife.
Well, listen, any other famous alumni from that particular class?
I've always stated that I am the most famous designer from Roslindale, Massachusetts.
Okay, Roslindale.
Which is a suburb of. So yeah, that's my claim to fame.
They got to be thrilled that you're actually showing up.
Well, it's what
I mean,
and I think you know this. Boston's a very close knit town. It's a town. It's not a major.
Yeah, it's the biggest little city in the country, as they say.
Everybody knows everybody, so it's going to be great.
But there had to be some girls and guys who were real dicky to you back then.
Oh,
now
you're
the man. You can't wait, right? You can't wait. You're the man. You're
I don't even know if I'll talk to them.
Look, but you got you tan, a full head of hair. You're famous. I mean, come on.
I've got the right clothes. I can show up.
Absolutely.
And well. It is great. And it's funny because I love the thing that I love about that city is how close it is in terms of the people who know. And sometimes it can be a little provincial. But it's an easy city. We're talking about kids going to school and college. It's a great town to go to school in.
No doubt about it. Boston College right in the city.
It's BU is right there.
No, but Boston College has a great campus. BU is like spread out.
True.
Right.
True. Yeah.
BU is a city school, and BC is just 3 miles out.
So 30 seconds to go then. You split your time between Westchester and Boston. This is a very hard question. If you don't want to answer it, that's fine. Better city, New York or Boston?
Okay.
What do you enjoy more?
New York is a citadel, and it's energized and powerful. And Boston is a rolling, easy city. So for me, the energy of what I do is here. I have to be here for the fashion business. Right. But really where my home is and my heart is in Boston.
Wow.
But I have to be here, and listen, it's a beautiful exile. Let's call it that.
I'm a New Yorker, and I couldn't agree with you more.
Yeah.
I love Boston and its environs, all of that. Right. I mean, I'd love to one day live in New Hampshire.
Right. But there's no city in the world like New York when it comes to the energy of business.
Right.
And as Frank Sinatra said, if you can make it here, you can make it anywhere.
I was walking around Boston yesterday for like an hour. I didn't see homeless.
But that's the problem. They're ruining this place. I mean, it's just
tough. It's really
the inmates
tough.
are starting to run the asylum. But listen, we don't want to drag Joseph Abboud into politics.
But
we do love having you here, and I know Sid was thrilled to have been at Fenway Park yesterday.
We'd love to
all
get
because
you
of
there.
you.
And let me leave you with this, Bernie. History is not dead. History is alive. When you walk that field and you look at the signs, that's why history is so important. You can't buy that.
No.
You can't make that up.
No.
So that's why I know when you love your history, there's something to it that's relevant for where we go in the future.
It's like the White House of baseball stadium.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's right. It's an amazing place if you love it.
And all those cliches like, I could hear Ted Williams in the outfield. I can hear. Let me tell you something.
It gives you goosebumps.
I could hear Ted Williams in the outfield.
Yeah.
True.
I love you guys.
Love you too. We'll be right back.
All the best, Joseph.
Thanks, buddy.
Bernie and Sid in the morning. Talk Radio 77 WABC.